Podcasting from the Chicagoland area, this is Game On with Jackson Stuart, where we discuss men's lifestyle, focusing on sex, fitness, relationships, business, and more. We'll be interviewing the best of the best, the hot shots, and the rising stars in the worlds of modeling, fitness, cooking, and more. Influencers who are discussing keeping it sexy while at the top of their game. I'm your host, Jackson Stuart. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the game.
This is Dale Valor.
This is Pamela Ross.
This is Trinasia.
And you're listening to Game On with Jackson Stuart.
To Game On with Jackson Stuart.
Game On with Jackson Stuart. Killing them.
Follow Game On with Jackson Stuart on YouTube at Game On with Jack, on the official blog www.gameonwithjack.blog, and at the news store www.gameonwithjack.shop. Keep it sexy and game on.
What if you could be a better player for the cost of one more cup of coffee a month? Get access to a growing library of lit erotica, behind-the-scenes action, and player's guides with tips on drinking, cooking, fitness, dating, sex, and life after dark. Low tier rate while offer lasts. Patreon.com, Game On with Jack. Keep it sexy and game on. What's the game if we're not talking romance? If we're not talking passion, sex, and that connection that gets hearts beating? As important as the game of love, sex, and romance is, it is the most confusing, most misunderstood, and most ill-navigated level of all. To work it, every player should have a guide. Enter Dale Valor, our guest this evening. Dale married his second girlfriend at 23 years old, but 5 years into the marriage, his wife told him that she was bisexual and wanted to have an open marriage. Giving Dale the green light to be with other women, he was given a golden ticket to go after other women. Not knowing how to flirt or approach, he went to books to study and research the science behind flirting and approaching. It took him 5 years to master these techniques, and eventually Dale started mentoring men on how to use the same concepts with a high success rate. Dale, coming in as a signed hip-hop artist and real estate agent, found his passion and calling, being men's wingmen in the dating world. Now Dale gives men like you the chance to speed up your learning curve and discover proven methods to win at the dating game. Today he has multiple programs, courses, and his new book to become your inner game wingman. Dale is also our guest this evening. All right, guys, you've heard the introduction and the biography, and now join me in welcoming to Game On. I mean, it's a guy that really just doesn't need any adjectives. It's just welcome the one and only Dale Valor. Dale, how you doing, man?
Man, I am fantastic. I'm ready to go. I'm excited. My book just came out, man. I just launched this new website. Like, things are popping. So I'm ready. I'm ready to talk about it, man.
I always forget to tell people, please lower your volume when Dale comes on this show.
Oh, I'm a loud dude, man. Like, you know, it's funny you say that because one of the things, and this was certainly not planned to talk about or whatever, but I'll whatever. I'm here. I'm gonna say it. So, one of the things that really holds guys back in terms of interactions with women is simply not talking loud enough. I mean, as simplistic as that sounds, like, guys are so reluctant to speak at a volume that people can hear, you know, especially in a loud environment like a club or something like that. Like, man, if she can't hear you, she's not going to listen to you. You get 2, maybe 3 whats, right? Meaning, what? What? And then she's tuned out. She's done.
100%.
You know?
And I think a lot of that comes from, I think it comes from 2 places. One is like self-esteem. Like if you feel like, you're not worth, or you're not, imposter syndrome. You're not worth her talking to, you don't deserve to be talking to her. You're going to speak kind of quieter. And I think too, we're kind of raised to always have our volume at a certain acceptable level, but then there's times to be loud. There's times when not to be. So before let's get the logistics, let's get the standard stuff out the way. They'll let the audience know what platform they can find you on and by what name.
Oh man, you could just Google Dale Valor and you'll find me pretty much everywhere. But on Instagram, it's at Dale Valor Modern Flirting. Let's see, on Facebook, we got my Facebook group just past the 4,000 member.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, like 2 days ago, it just hit the 4,000 mark in terms of people being in there, and that is a group called Modern Flirting Inner Game. Okay, so that's another place you can find me. I mean, you can email me, modernvalordating@gmail. I mean, there's a litany of ways, but the main one, free gift from Dale.com, where I got you. Like, it is what the website says. It's not clickbaity. You know what I mean? Like, you go on that website and I got you. I got two things for you. I got the first chapter of my book, that you can download and peruse at your own leisure and see if it's something that speaks to you. And if it does, so will the rest of the book, right? And then also one of my biggest substantial life-changing exercises that I walk guys through at boot camps, my students. It's in my book, actually. And what that is to find out about your own intrinsic value, who you are at the core. I say it all the time, man. A guy who knows who he is and knows what he wants is a dangerous man. And unfortunately, most guys don't know either. So, go on freegiftfromdale.com, check that out, and you're going to find out something about yourself moving forward that you can take with you into dating, into relationships, professionally, right? If you don't know your worth, like for instance, if I don't know what my house is worth, right? And I'm moving soon, okay? So moving out of Detroit, moving down to Tampa. And if I don't know what my house is worth approximately, well, I might undercut myself, right? Like, if I put my house up for sale for $50,000, I'll get a gang of offers, none of which is coming close to what that value is, But if I sell it and put it up for sale at the appropriate price, I don't need a gang of offers. I just need one.
Right.
And maybe 2 or 3 come in, and that'd be cool, get a little bidding war going or whatever, but at least I know I'm going to get what the house is worth. I'm not just giving it away, essentially. And that, unfortunately, that's what a lot of guys do, is they just give away their value, by simping for these women, and by no means am I suggesting, that you shouldn't be kind or you shouldn't be nice or, treat people with basic human dignity and respect. I'm not saying that at all. But there's a big difference between that and kowtowing and placating and putting women on pedestals and things like that, hoping you can get a scrap of her precious time, like, come on, man, like, you're better than that. If you know what your worth is, you're not going to put up with nonsense. You're going to get what you're worth. No. But you're not going to know that unless you know what your worth is, right? So
you guys that don't
that's
know,
what that's all about.
If you guys that don't know, Dale you were, I think, the 3rd guest I ever had. So.
Oh, dang! I didn't even know that.
No, you were like the 3rd guest. If memory serves me right. And this is Dale's 3rd time back. Very happy to have him.
Dude, congratulations, man. That's fucking dope, man. Because
it's been a while.
Yeah, dude, because I was looking, I'm like, dang, man, he's got like 130 episodes or something like that,
I think you were guest number, if I remember right, we had a seduction expert, we had a chef, and then I had Dale Valor.
Dang, man. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. All right.
I want to let people who haven't, and guys, go back, check out Dale on that his first appearance. He's amazing. You just skip over listening to me because I probably still didn't sound like I knew what I was doing. Then you come back for a Valentine's Day show,
Oh yeah. I remember that.
So that
okay.
But for people who you guys haven't heard the interviews with Dale, let people know real quick, where are you from and where did you grow up?
All right, so I'm from Detroit. Grew up in Detroit. Still in Detroit, but like I said, I'm about to move out of here. I'm about to move to Tampa here soon. Okay. But yeah, man. So I just, like East Side all day, man. You know, like you know how it is, man. You're in Chicago, so you got a lot of suburbs and whatnot. Like you could have somebody who lives damn near Rockford, Illinois, and they're going to claim Chicago, right? When they're talking to people and stuff like that. It's the same thing here, but I like where I am standing in my basement right now is on the east side of Detroit. I keep it gully, man.
Now your message, right? It's like, we were talking earlier doing the pre-show talk, and I've said this to guys before listening, like, guys, we're faced with, we believe we got two choices to listen to, two voices, right? And Dale, you hit on one.
Yeah.
You got the simp voice. You got the voice that says, sit up and wait for her to call on a Friday night, hoping to get a little bit of her attention and follow after her, dote on her, whatever. And then the other voice is like, fuck them all, then it's a toxic masculinity, but you're in the middle ground. You're talking about what I like to call, the assertive male, the guy that's kind, but he doesn't get pushed around. Who are some of the influences? 'Cause I want to get in some of your bio, but like, who influences you, and who do you go back and read to get spun back up? Are there certain speakers you like, certain authors?
Yeah. I mean, I got a lot of influences, but a few that come to mind right now. Jordan Peterson being one. Who else, man? I don't know if this is somebody that would be an influence in the same vein that you're talking about, but man, I love Robert Greene. He's, and I don't know if you're from. Do you know who that is?
I've never heard of Robert Greene.
Okay, you probably heard of his book, but he's got a bunch of them, man. But probably his most famous one is 48 Laws of Power.
Okay.
Like, dude, I don't know if this is a ringing endorsement or not, but it's the number one. It's the number one requested book of prison inmates. So, but yeah, like, dude even wrote a book with 50 Cent called The 50th Law. So I always go back to him a lot because I like the way that he breaks things down. Another guy who's actually on my podcast, a guy named Dr. Robert Glover. He has a book called No More Mr. Nice Guy. And so like what you're talking about with, like, you're saying, like, okay, you got two extremes, right? You got the simps and you got the guys who are, of the Tate-ish, red pill type of guys, right? But then really in the middle, and I forget the term that you use to describe that, but assertive guy, I think is what you said.
Assertive male.
Yeah, he calls it the integrated male.
Okay.
And so, like, what you were describing is what Dr. Glover describes as the integrated male, and embodying what you're talking about. The way I think of it is kind of like this, man. It's like, we've all been pulled over by the Po. You know what I mean? We've all had encounters with the cops, right? And if you haven't, your time's coming. You're on the clock. So, you get pulled over, and 9 times out of 10, like, the cops, he's polite, he's, like, cordial and whatnot, he doesn't walk up being just a dick, usually. I mean, sometimes you run into that, but typically they're fine, but you respect, you're kind of respecting their authority, right? Like, I'm not going to act up and do some foolish stuff, because of the consequences, right? So you're respecting his authority, you're respecting his ability to, fuck you up if push comes to shove. And so that's the way that I kind of like to look at it, is where it's like, yeah, I'm a nice guy, man. You know, like I always have a kind word for somebody. I'm down to help somebody out of a jam if I can. I'm more than happy to give somebody some advice that they may need. Like I thrive on that stuff. But at the same time, I ain't no punk. You know what I mean? Like you try to take advantage of that. Or if a girl tries to take advantage of me because she mistakes that kindness for weakness, she's got another thing coming. You know, he's about to get a rude awakening real fast. So, that's kind of the way that I like to look at it.
You know, we said it on here before, and you and I were just talking about it. It's the Clark Kent versus Superman. Clark Kent's the joke, right? He's the milksop. He's the simp. But Superman he's Superman, but Superman's Clark Kent's a nice guy. Superman's a good man. And when I say, guys, you want to be a good man, not a nice guy, because a nice guy is a pushover. Yep. Superman, he's nice. Like he'll save a kitten, he'll give a speech at a school, but you fuck with him and he'll throw the moon at you. Like, so I think that's, guys, like there's a third choice, there's a third voice out there. Before we get into some of the mistakes that guys are making and approaching, Dale, you got to tell me about, I read the bio, and that moment that you get told in your marriage that she wants an open marriage. Like, because there's guys out there who are getting hit with a similar situation, or they're going to get hit with a situation. How did you handle it? What advice do you have somebody who gets faced with that? Because you didn't go in expecting that, I'm sure.
No, and I mean, it wasn't dropped on me just like that. Yeah. It wasn't like a confrontational thing or like, this is what I want to do.
Like, hey, baby, here's pancakes. Let's go bring somebody else in.
Right. Yeah. It wasn't exactly just like that, it was more so of a conversation. Right. And so when my wife came out to me as being bisexual, we were kind of like, okay, so what are we going to do about that? How does that change our relationship? How do we navigate it? So, through the course of this conversation, she was like, well, I would like to, experiment with that side of myself. And so, I guess to answer your question initially, I'm like, this is great. like I won the lottery, in my immature thinking, you know what I'm saying? That's like, yo, you know what I mean? Like this, about to get this popping. So, but eventually what had happened was, so she was like, I want to, experiment and see what's up. But I don't think it's fair, that I get, I'll get to go out here and do my thing. What are you going to do? You're going to sit at home and just like wait for me to come home, twiddling your thumbs, what are you going to do? And I'm like, well, so we continue to talk it out. And she's like, well, I think it's only fair if you want to date and, kick it with other women and stuff like that. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that, and so that's kind of was like the beginnings of kind of everything. I mean, even the space that I'm in now professionally, had it not been for that moment, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. That's for damn sure.
And I got to tell you, if you guys don't follow Dale on social media, you need to. I've been following him since he was a guest on the show. Actually before, because that's how I found you.
Right.
And on Instagram, not only every day he's posting advice, every day he's posting tips. But I got to say, man, I mean, your workout game has been tight. You look phenomenal.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. Hasn't been that tight the last week or so, though, let me tell you.
Hey, if you didn't make mistakes, pencils wouldn't have erasers. I mean, you're not always going to be out. You're gonna slip a little bit. But yeah. Let's jump right into some advice, because guys are listening to you, guys are following you, guys are getting coached by you. What is the number one biggest mistake men in approaching? So let's say if it's a female, if it's at a party, if it's at a social event, if it's on the street, at a club, whatever, number one mistake guys are making.
Okay. I think the number one mistake is actually the precursor to that. Okay. So what do we have? We've got our mindset, and then we got the action steps that we're going to take or not take based on that mindset, right? So yeah, we can get into like tactical stuff, but I think before the precursor to that is, what is your thought process? What is your mindset, right? Because most guys, what they're going to do is they're going to be like, oh, yo, like, there goes that girl, blah, blah, blah. Like, man, I should go over there and holler at her. And there she goes. Like, she's gone. Like, I shoulda, woulda, coulda stuff, And that obviously is not going to help you in getting to know her by any stretch. So the mindset being, okay, if I'm walking into this intentionally to suggest an outcome, right? So if I see this girl and I'm like, I want to get to know her, get her number, I want to take her on a date. How do you even know? How do you even know you want that stuff, first and foremost? Yeah, okay, she's cute and whatever, but how do you, like, man, you don't know her, you don't know her name, for all you know her breath stinks, for all you know she's got 8 kids by 10 different daddies, like, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Until you know. So instead of walking in there with some grand objective, and again, this before we hopped on here, what I was talking about giving value. You know what I mean? Like, that's you wanting to take something from her, right? That's you suggesting to yourself, I want to get to know her because I want to get X, whatever X is, And so before doing that, my mindset's like this. I just want to find out about her. That's it. And then wherever it goes from there is where it goes from there. But let me just go see what she's about. Let me go make her day a little bit better. Let me get her laughing. Have some really good, engaging conversation. Should I want to take it that direction? If her personality's good and all that kind of stuff, yeah, I'm going to want to take it that direction. But if her personality sucks, what's the point? Like, I don't want to kick it with her if I don't like her, so that's what I'm saying. Starting off with the mindset. If you're walking in there, it's about being process oriented versus results oriented. If you're just looking for a result, you're hinging everything on that result, as opposed to, hey man, girl, I just want to get to know you a little bit. Let's have a conversation, So that's where I think guys mess up the most. Or they just simply don't approach because they're just shook, like, okay, well, she's stupid hot and here's little old me, so I'm not going to go talk to her. I'm just going to get blown out and she's going to yell at me or whatever, whatever they got going on.
So guys, back up and listen to what Dale just said. Like, I don't think most guys on the hunt, the prowl, however you want to phrase it, you're out, you see an attractive woman, maybe it's a club, maybe it's a party, something like that. And so immediately, you're right, they go into result orientation. Like, how do I get with her? And I swear to you guys, that comes out in your approach as you move, as you talk. So there are some females that are going to get turned off because it's like, oh, here's one more guy trying to pick me up. But what Dale's suggesting, if I can be so boldly to paraphrase, he's talking about just, I'm going to go there and just get to know her. Now, that takes, that kind of is going to throw her off a little bit because she's expecting you're one more dude trying to holler at her. Yeah. And two, you don't give out that vibe. But Dale, I want to ask you, because I think this is the follow-up. So when do you guys, if you go over just to talk to her and you're not going there with that vibe to pounce, to moving right for the number or the email or whatever, or the, her social media, so you hook up with her. Yeah. There's the danger that she's going to go, well, is this guy about something or not? And so
Right.
when
Yeah.
did
No,
you
you're
guys make
right.
that transition from like, I want to make
All
a
right.
day better, to all of a sudden I'm interested and boom, I want to move forward?
Okay, so think of it like this. There's two different kinds of energies, right? And I'm not talking about chakras or like woo-woo stuff, okay? But there's two types of energies. You have high vibration energy and you have low vibration energy. The high vibration energy is all the stuff that I'm talking about, right? That's all the, cracking a couple of jokes, telling a couple of stories, getting to know her, being cordial and just having light, fun type of conversation, right? Much like you would maybe do like on a job interview, like you're just kind of putting your best foot forward and just, that kind of thing. Okay. That's all high vibration energy. The low vibration energy, and this isn't a suggestion of good or bad, by the way. It's just one's high, one's low. The low vibration energy is the sexual energy. Okay, it's the flirting, it's the building connection. It's expressing that you have sexual wants and desires. Okay, so if all you're doing is doing all the high vibration stuff with no low vibration, essentially what you're doing it, if you will. All right. So because you're like, oh, I'm a Ken doll. I've got no, I don't want to offend you with any type of, sexual talk or double entendres or anything like that. Right. You basically what you've made is a recipe for the friend zone. Yeah. She's cool with you. She likes interacting with you, but there's no type of sexual connection. Okay. Now, conversely, if it's all low vibration energy and no high vibration energy, what you basically have is like, a construction worker catcalling a woman. Right. Okay. So, and that's equally a turnoff. What you want to do is exude both, but you don't want to lead with the low vibration energy, because if you do, then much to what you were saying before, oh, here we go again. Here's another guy to try to pick me up, So as I'm talking to her and she's starting to feel a little bit more comfortable with me, right? She's starting to kind of feel, a little bit of a vibe here and stuff like that. Once I get and pick up on a couple of what you might call an indicator of interest, right? She's interested in me and she's doing her subtle little flirts or whatever, right? Now I know that it's acceptable for me to start ramping that up. Okay. So, and another way to look at it too is I just go into it assuming why wouldn't she want to get to know me? Why wouldn't she want to date me? I'm the shit. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that in a overly cocky way or anything like that, but it's like if she doesn't want to, I'll suss that out real quick and I'll be on to the next one. So I think that's really the way to do it, is kind of indirectly, get to know her a little bit and then start building on top of that as a foundation to start getting to more of the sexual topics or just flirting in general or anything like that. Does that make sense?
And I think, it might sound complicated. I think the guys who, maybe have struggled in relationships or struggled in connection, but it's not complicated if you just got to be in the moment. Don't try and figure out what you're going to say next. Listen, pay attention to what she's saying, because she'll tell you where she wants you to go next. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember I would go to a party, and if I was talking to I was trying to, talk to a girl or something, and the second I knew that she had no interest in me, it's like a timer would start in my eye. I'm like, all right, I got 2 minutes to disconnect because I'm wasting time. It's not what I'm looking for. And then I had a buddy, and as soon as he heard that girl I noticed, he would just turn around and walk away from her. She'd be in mid-sentence. He's like, all right, done, boom, out. Now you mentioned flirting. Yeah. I think a lot of guys find flirting like mysterious or like magic, but it's not. What what in your opinion is the biggest secret to flirting that you can tell listeners?
I think the biggest secret is defining it, okay? Because one person's flirting is another person's friendly conversation, okay? So I think it's defining it firstly, all right? Like, I'll give you a quick story. So I'm dating this girl, right? And here it is, like Sunday, like noonish, we're getting hungry, and like this dope brunch spot was like right around the corner from her, walking distance. So we go over there and we take a seat at the bar, right? And we're sitting there, and the bartender, it was kind of dead in there, so the bartender had a lot of time to, just kind of shoot the shit with us. And this particular bartender, she was an attractive girl, and like, I was not flirting with her. I was just having, just fun conversation with her, kind of playfully teasing her a bit and stuff like that. Now, the girl that I came with, she got like real quiet. And I was like, what's up with you? And her response was, well, I mean, you're flirting with this girl, like right in front of me. And I'm like, what? I'm like, no, I'm not. You know what I mean? And really, that was the truth. I wasn't flirting with her. I was just being me, But the girl that I came with, she took that as flirting because that's how she defines it. Okay. So there's certain women that if just by you could walk up and ask what time it is or where the closest, Burger King is or whatever, they'll take that as you flirting with her. Other girls, like, you literally have to be like, I want to go home with you. You know what I mean? And it's not flirting up until that point, So the way that I like to define flirting is where sex is on the table, but it's not a guarantee.
Ooh, hold on. Wait.
Okay.
Say that one more time. That was great.
Flirting is where sex is on the table, but it's not guaranteed. Okay. So what are we talking about? We're talking about sexual dynamics that we're kicking that ball around, trying to feel each other out a little bit, see what's up. And if it goes in the direction of it, where we get down, okay. If not, I mean, it wasn't guaranteed. It wasn't promised or anything, so it just goes from there, Does that make sense?
Perfect. And I really like that definition. One, it's simple. It's easy to remember. It's easy to comprehend. And I think that clears up, this kind of like foggy curtain that guys have. Like, well, like you just said, like, I wasn't flirting. I was just being friendly, and you're right. A lot of times flirting is based off the other person's definition, which I know that some guys, it's like, well, how am I supposed to read her mind to know what her definition of flirting is? But then that's when that goes back to guys, be in the moment and pay attention to the cues. Body language is real. It's not something made up. If she folds her arms and she's looking around but not at you or making eye contact, she ain't interested. At that moment,
no doubt.
Now, if you go, wait, I can see you're busy, or it was nice meeting you, you start to walk away, you might pique her curiosity because you and I both know, when you stop paying attention to a woman, that's when she wants you suddenly become like, air on the moon.
Yeah.
If you could give men listening right now one takeaway on what, flirting or communication, or even, and like you said before, the precursor, the mindset, because that's, if you're going to win or lose at this, it starts up there first before it goes anywhere else. What's one takeaway you want to give guys?
I think it goes back to what I was saying before. A man that knows what he wants, a man that knows who he is and knows what he wants is a dangerous man. Okay. I think the takeaway that if it was me and I'm listening to this podcast and I'm like, okay, all that sounds well and good, but I don't even know where to start. I don't even all this is kind of nebulous and, I need a little structure here. Okay. I got you. All right. So first and foremost, find out who you are at the core, not what your name is. That's just a sound that people make to address you. Okay. Not what you do for a living. Cause I like to think about it, Jackson. If I didn't know you and I come up to you and I'm like, yo, who are you? You're going to be like, right. I'm Jackson, and then like, no, that is not what I mean. And then you're probably going to go into what you do for work.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what most people do. But that's not really who you are, because if you got fired from that job today, does that mean you cease to exist? Poof. You're off in another dimension,
point, man. Such an amazing point.
So finding out who you are at the core, that's everything. The way I look at it is like this. Firstly, you got nature versus nurture, right? So, nature being, like, look, if your whole family are alcoholics, you're probably predisposed to alcoholism. Right. Now, that doesn't mean that you'll be an alcoholic. You still have the choice to put the drink to your lips, but, you have predispositions. It could be health things. It could be, good gene type of stuff. You know what I mean? So you got that going for you. Nurture, people are a product of their environment. You take two puppies. One of them, gets raised by a good family that loves it, takes care of it. The other puppy, goes to some guy who leaves it outside, doesn't feed it right, hits it with a broom, like that dog's going to be a scourge, man. Like it's going to be biting people and not know how to act, and you know what I mean? But they both came from the same litter and they both have the same genetics, right? So product of your environment. The other thing, what I like to call environment exposure. Okay. So like the way I put it is like this, man, I grew up with a gang of black people. Okay. Let's call it what it is. Like I'm a white dude. I grew up, in the hood around a lot of black people my whole life, and that has influenced me in what I like, the kind of music I listen to, the way I talk and present myself, the way I dress. Now, if I grew up in Sticksville, Michigan, you know what I mean? Like,
Sticksville.
I probably wouldn't be the same person, So, then you have your intrinsic value. All the characteristics and qualities, and that's what that exercise on freegiftfromdale.com is about. It's finding out about the intrinsic qualities that you have, that you embody, the things about yourself that you respect the most, and being able to highlight those strengths. Okay? Now, knowing what you want, look, man, I worked in real estate for a long, long time, and one of the things that used to really irk me was this. Say Jackson, you're like, I'm in the market to buy a house, okay? And you're like, let me sit down with you, Dale. Let me explain what I want, and you give me the listings for the houses that fit that criteria. Okay, cool. So we sit down. This is what would happen like every single time. Okay, I've got this pre-approval for $250,000. I need a 3-bedroom house, at least 1,500 square feet, at least a bath and a half, a basement, and a garage. It's like, okay, cool. Every house on planet Earth, got you. So we're spending the next 6 months, driving around doing a process of elimination. Don't like this house, don't like this house, don't like this house, until eventually you find one that that you like. Okay. Instead of that, what I started doing with people was having them take me on a tour of their dream home within their budget. Okay. Now I know in detail what they want. So instead of sending you, 100 listings, I'm sending you like 5. 3 of which you want to go take a look at. And of those 3, 1 of which you want to put an offer in on. So we've skirted the next 6 months down into one Saturday afternoon, So what guys should do when it comes to dating and relationships is, man, take your lifestyle into account. Like, okay, cool. She's pretty. All right. And maybe she has a good personality, but you're a homebody. And she likes to party, like Eddie Murphy, right? But my girl likes to party all the time, okay? Like, she likes to go out every single weekend and you're not feeling it. Well, then don't go to the places that those types of women congregate. Go to the places that make sense for you and your lifestyle. Much like with real estate, I would tell people like this: just because you have a $250,000 pre-approval doesn't mean you have to spend $250,000. If you're the type of person that likes to go on cruises 3 times a year, but when you buy this house, you're not going to be able to afford to do that, that house that you wanted is now an albatross around your neck, keeping you from doing the things you want to do, you know? So why not, if you like to go out, why not get a cheaper home? Now, if you like to stay in, get the best house that you can afford, you know, make it your castle. But if you like to go out, that ain't going to make sense. So that's what I'm getting at here with dating and relationships. Man, what's your lifestyle look like? You know, where are you trying to go? What's your purpose in life? What's your path? And that's another thing, man. I'm kind of ranting here a bit, but, you know, like, guys are so quick, man, to throw their purpose right out the window. as soon as a girl that, you know, that has a pretty face and a good figure steps into their life. You know, we talked about simp stuff earlier. Man, I don't know a bigger simp than the guy that does that. Like, you're willing to trade in what you were put on planet Earth to do because this cute girl smiled at you? Like,
you know, there's some.
Come on, man.
You hit some points where I want to pull out real quick because before I even get on to another question, like, guys, like, the idea of knowing yourself before you even take a step towards that female is like astronomical, because so many guys don't know what they want. They don't know what makes them tick. They don't know what makes them happy. And now you're trying to add another person who has their own ticks, their own things that make them happy. And so you're setting yourself up for failure. It's like, you know, it's like doing you're going to go play basketball, but you bring a football instead. Or you don't even know that you can't run. Like, so you don't know what you're even getting into. And then second, and really listen to that, guys, Dale said, don't give up who you are. Find out who you are, then don't give it up. So, like you say, if you're a homebody, don't go after the girl who likes to party all the time. And I appreciate the Eddie Murphy, you know,
I just dated myself,
Rick James throwback. And same thing, if you like to go out all the time, hit the bars, don't go out to a girl that thinks, you know, bars are the worst place in the world, because you are both methods, not knowing who you are and going after somebody who is the complete antithesis of your lifestyle. You're setting yourself up for failure, you know, before you even open your mouth.
Yeah.
And I do want to make sure that we do talk about your new book. Tell everybody about it, the title, what it's about, where they can find it.
All right. So the book is called Inner Game. You know, go figure. That's what I coach. It's called Inner Game. How to fix your dating life by fixing the relationship you have with you. Okay? Because what's the common denominator in every relationship that you've ever had? Well, I'll give you the answer. You. You know? So if you don't have a good handle on the relationship you have with you, then how can you expect any other relationships to be fruitful? You know, how can you expect, much like you were just saying, that's like bringing a gun to a knife fight, you know, or other way around, knife to a gunfight. I guess if you brought a gun to a knife fight, you win, but you get what I'm saying. Right. This would be a shank fight. But yeah, man, I mean, you know, so many guys struggle when it comes to things like confidence, assertiveness, setting boundaries. You know, they got this negative voice in their head, this negative monologue telling them they're not shit, you know, and it's like, man, like, the stuff that goes on in people's heads, man, like, literally, if somebody walked up to you and said verbatim what you tell yourself, you're like, man, I'm about to break this fool's nose, you know? Like, how dare you walk up to me and start saying that to me, you know? But yeah, it's totally acceptable to say it to ourselves.
I mean, so right about it.
Right, man. I mean, and it just reinforces it. You know, here's the thing too. People have this idea, and I don't know where this comes from, but people have this idea that because they thought it, it must be true. You know, like, oh, well, I think, you know, like, I think this certain way about myself. I'm a loser. I'm whatever, right? And because I thought it, therefore, that must be the truth. My rebuttal to that is like, oh, okay, cool. So you've never been wrong about anything. You know, like, if you've been wrong about stuff, which we all have, then how can you suggest that you're 100% factual about that part of it, you know, about what you think about yourself? You know, the way you think about yourself is going to determine all your outcomes, you know, unless you just happen to get dumb lucky on a scratch-off lottery ticket or something, you know, like it's going to determine every outcome. The way that you feel about yourself, man. So the book Inner Game, there's 5 core tenets in the book. There's 5 sections, and each one of those sections has, you know, a gang of chapters. So the sections are self-esteem, self-confidence, self-discipline, being able to set healthy boundaries, and then overcoming the nice guy, quote unquote, nice guy trap. Okay. So that's really what it's about, man. If you got a handle on those 5 things, dude, you're fucking winning in life.
I love it. And where can people get a copy of this book?
You can get it on Amazon. But one of the best ways, if, like I was saying before, if you just want to take a look and just kind of get the gist of it and what it's about, my writing style and all that kind of thing, because I'll be frank, it's not for everybody, you know? But if what I'm saying speaks to you on any level, then it probably is for you, okay? So you can get that on Amazon. All my social medias have links for it and all that kind of thing. But if you go to freegiftfromdale.com, you can download the first chapter, and then you can pick it up if it speaks to you.
One of my favorite questions, if not, no, it's definitely one of them, not the most, to ask a guest, Dale, what is the sexiest thing about you?
Oh, man, that's a tough question because there's so many.
We have all day.
How do I narrow this down to one thing? You know, like, I'll be like 100% honest, man. I'll keep it a buck. The thing that I get complimented on the most from women are probably neck and neck. It's probably 2 things, okay? The first thing being my voice. All right. I've literally had women tell me if they could have sex with a voice. Wow. Well, I don't know how that works. You know what I mean? But I'll take it.
How that works.
Like I don't like an eargasm, I guess.
It's just going on somebody.
But the other thing that gets noted quite often is just my presence. You know, like from what I have been told, I have a fairly dominant type of presence about myself, and so those 2 things I think would probably be the answer to the question.
What, in your opinion, vice versa, makes a person sexy?
I think, man, you know, I mean, outside of, you know, anything like physical, I think at least for me, I think, man, you know, it's women who have a deep understanding of psychology and, but not from not like a pop psych type of mentality, you know, just like, oh, I heard Dr. Laura Schlesinger say this about something, you know, like, okay, cool, fine. I was watching Dr. Phil and he said, it's not what I mean. What I'm talking about is where they're actually about personal growth and understanding people and being empathetic to people, you know, a non-judgmental type of mentality, you know, and really trying to understand how they can maneuver through the world and leave it better than they found it.
That's good. I like that a lot, man. It is now time for the quick game where we like to give our guests a chance to run through some entertaining questions. Dale, are you ready? All right,
I am.
Here you go. What is your go-to lazy dinner?
Oh, go-to lazy dinner. Oh, man. Well, I mean, I guess it would have to be eating out, right? I mean, because if I'm too lazy to make it, I got to get it from somewhere, you know? Okay. Uber Eats, homie.
What's your favorite thing to do in the summertime?
Favorite thing to do in the summertime, man? That's a really good question. You know, I think just being outside.
All right.
You know, like nothing special, not like go to the lake or whatever. I think, and you get it, man. You're in Chicago, so you know what I mean, man. With the winters. Right, just you know, being out on the stoop, man, just chilling, maybe having a drink or two, and just you know, kicking it with the neighbors walking by, and you know, like maybe you know, on the next block over, they got like a little house party going on or a graduation. They got the old school music playing, and you know what I mean, just kind of just vibing, just being a part of the community and being outside, so kind of part of nature and that kind of thing.
What is one of your nicknames?
Oh man! All right, this is gonna crack you up, man. So I got two. All right, and one of them, I was doing some acting for a minute. Okay, just in some like indie films and things like that. And my acting name, I used to go by Julio Salamander.
What?
Yeah. I don't know where I came up with that one. And then the other one, like like at a restaurant or you know, like Starbucks or something, you know, like you give them your name, and then you know when your thing is up, right? They call you up there, right? So in those situations, I like to go by Dr. Octavius Leckenstein. So those are the two nicknames.
Julio Salamander. What item is worth spending too much money on?
Well, I mean, I guess it depends what you're into, but for me, one thing that I'm always okay with spending a little bit too much money on is hookers. No, I'm playing. You get what you pay for, man. No, I'm not playing. Man, I like honestly, like I'll keep it a buck, man. Coaching.
Nice. Okay.
You know, like whatever it is that you're trying to do. Right. I want, and I put my money where my mouth is, man. Like, you know, modern flirting is, you know, working with me as a coach. I mean, it's a high ticket item, you know, it's not cheap. Okay. And I put my money where my mouth is, man. I just dropped $15K for a business mentor, like about a month ago almost, you know? So like, you know, I do my due diligence. I ain't just going to give that to anybody. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, but like, look, man. In my opinion, there's nothing better that you can do with your money than invest in yourself.
Is your bed made right now?
Yes.
If you could afford any car in the world, which one would you drive?
Oh man,
Any car.
I don't remember the model. I'm not good with remembering like car makes and models and things like that.
Sure,
I mean, the irony, considering I'm from Detroit.
Car capital of the world, yeah.
But, man, probably like a high-end, I like high-end like European luxury cars that have a sporty look to them,
something like
know?
that.
So like, yeah, stuff like that. Like the really expensive like BMWs that got like a real sporty look to it and stuff like that. Not where it's just like a basic sedan where it's like, look, it looks like, you could be out here racing this thing. Like that's really what I like.
What movie do you enjoy quoting the most?
Oh man, probably Step Brothers.
If you could be transformed into one animal, which one would you choose?
One animal. All right. Can I transform back or I got to stay as that?
No, you got to stay.
Oh man. So this ain't like werewolf stuff. Okay. All right. Man. Probably a lion. Dude, male lions got the life, man. Like I've studied lions. They got the life, man. All they do is chill and fuck. That's it. The women go out and do the hunting. They bring it back to the male lion
and smack the shit out of something. You just lay back down.
Right.
Man, you're so right. And if you guys don't know, go watch a documentary about lions. Like lions, like we're afraid of lions because when lions do get up, they tear everything apart. But lions really just kind of lay around for like 95% of their lives. They don't do a whole lot.
Yeah, they just
What's
chill.
your favorite board game?
Favorite board Risk.
And this is absolutely my favorite question. Dale, who inspires you?
Who inspires me? Man, there's so many, man. I think the person that probably inspires me the most, man, probably Jordan Peterson. Yeah, I mean, I find myself gravitating and going back and rewatching videos and things like that. But probably him more than anybody else.
Good people, sexy people. That wraps up our interview with just Dale. I mean, there's no need for adjectives besides this Dale. Dale, let people know one more time where they can find you, man.
Look, man, this is where you can find me. freegiftfromdale.com. And by the way, I should note, you can also book a free consultation call. You know what I mean? Where we can talk about whatever you're struggling with in terms of dating, relationships, the relationship that you have with you that we talked about before. I mean, shit, man. Like, since the last time you and I had spoke, also I got my certification to be a hypnotherapist. So I'm a certified hypnotherapist as well. So, like, look, man, if you want to book a call, that's a place to do it. You can download the first chapter of my book. You can go through, there's a video there for you for free as well, where you can do the intrinsic value exercise and really find out who you are at the core so you can start leveraging that value out there instead of just giving it away or just, undercutting, selling yourself short and all that kind of stuff.
Guys, there you go. Don't sleep on that deal. There's nothing else to say. Dale, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for you're
having me, man. I absolutely love it, bro.
Like I said before, like there are two guests behind you, but they're so far behind you that you got the crown for a while, brother. Hey, thank you so much, and we'll talk soon.
All right, man. Appreciate you.